On the auspicious occasion of Sri Rama Navami, I am reading out an excerpt from the book Adhyatma Ramayana, authored by Swami Tapasyananda. Chapter 3. The Incarnation of Rama. Dasharatha's sacrifice for the sake of issue. Sri Mahadeva said, "There was in Ayodhya a king named Dasharatha, supremely devoted to truth, heroic and renowned all the world over. Being worried that he was issueless, he one day addressed his family preceptor Vasishtha after making obeisance to him in due form. He said, 'O Master, how can I have worthy sons with all auspicious features? My whole kingdom is only a cause of sorrow to me, as I have no issue to succeed me.' Thereupon the sage Vasishtha said to him, 'You shall have 4 worthy sons who will be equal to the guardian deities of the quarters.' Without loss of time, managed to get here the austere sage Rishyasringa, the husband of Shanta, and perform Putra Kameshti, a sacrifice to be performed by one desiring issue with him. Rishyasringa, as chief priest, he will be assisted by us, your family priests." Complying with this instruction, King Dasharatha invited the sage Rishyasringa and with due observance of preliminary sacrificial disciplines commenced the performance of the sacrifice, assisted by his ministers and sages like Vasishtha. When holy offerings were made in the sacrificial fire with great faith, the fire deity possessing the luminosity of gold, purified by heating, emerged from the sacrificial pit, holding forth a golden vessel containing payasa or milk pudding. Receive this divine payasa made by the Devas, which is productive of issue. It will undoubtedly help you to obtain Mahavishnu himself as son." Saying so, that fire deity gave the payasa to the king and disappeared from sight. And the king, having achieved his object, made obeisance to both the sages Vasishtha and Rishyasringa. Rama incarnates. Permitted by the sages Vasishtha and Rishyasringa, the king gave half of the quantity of that payasa to Queen Kaushalya and the other half to Kaikeyi. Thereupon Sumitra, the third consort of the king, who too was extremely desirous of consuming that issue conferring payasa, came forward. Kaushalya joyfully gave her one half from her own share. Kaikeyi too gave her, Sumitra, one half of her share of the payasa. All these women who consumed the payasa became big with child. In their quarters in the palace, these queens now shone like celestials, and in the 10th month Kaushalya gave birth to a unique infant. The Supreme Spirit, the eternal being and the Lord of all, incarnated in the month of Chaitra, Madhumasa, amidst a shower of flowers on the 9th day of the bright fortnight under the constellation of Punarvasu in the auspicious zodiacal sign of Cancer, when the 5 planets, the Sun, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter and Venus were in the ascendant, and the Sun was at the sign of the Ram, Mesha. Blue in complexion like the petals of a blue lily, draped with a yellow wearing cloth, sporting 4 arms, with the corner of the eyes tinged lotus red, wearing a pair of shining ear pendants, luminous like 100 suns, crowned with a diadem over his head of curly locks, resplendent with conch, discus, mace and lotus in his 4 arms, and a wreath of wild flowers on the chest, with his face illumined by the lunar light of his smile, indicative of the presence of the moon of grace in his heart, possessing lotus-like eyes overflowing with the sentiment of universal love, and adorned with the Srivatsa necklace, armlets, anklets and other ornaments, Such was the form of the Lord when he incarnated himself as the son of Kaushalya. Kaushalya's hymn and the Lord's response. Wonderstruck at the sight of the divine form of the Lord, Kaushalya addressed him with her hands held in salutation and eyes brimming with tears of joy. Kaushalya said, "Salutations to thee, the Lord over all divinities and the wearer of divine insignia like conch, discus, and mace. Thou, O Lord, art the Supreme Spirit, the highest of all beings, eternal, all-pervading, and limitless. The knowers of the Vedas declare thee to be indescribable by words and ungraspable by the conceptual process of the intellect. Transcending the purview of the senses, thou art the essence of all beings as pure existence, and thy form is of pure consciousness. By thy power known as Maya, thou in association with the gunas of Rajas, Sattva and Tamas, createst, sustainest and destroyest the universe. But unaffected by all this creative activity, thou art ever the pure being, the fourth, transcending the three states of waking, dream and sleep. Though thou appearest to be doing, thou art no doer. Though thou appearest to be moving, thou art not moving. Though thou appearest to be hearing, thou art not hearing. And though thou appearest to be seeing, thou art not seeing. Without prana, without mind, untainted, such is the declaration of the Vedas about thee. Though thou abidest in all beings alike as unmodified being, thou art outside the ken of all. Though thus outside the range of persons whose mind is overcast with the darkness of ignorance, those endowed with a pure mind perceive thee clearly. All the world systems included in the cosmos are but minute atoms in thy abdomen. Following the ways of the world, thou art born of my womb. O thou, the noblest one of Raghu's line, today by this condescension of thine, I have come to understand how thou dost subject thyself to thy devotees. Today have I attained to thy holy feet, I who am submerged in the ocean of samsara, the transmigratory cycle, and who am by thy illusory power forced into an infatuating involvement with husband, children, wealth and other worldly concerns. O Lord, may this form of thine remain ever impressed in my mind, and let not thy Maya, the power that infatuates the whole world, affect and overpower me. Soul of the universe, deign to withdraw this suprahuman form of thine and reveal thy charming form as an infant that confers bliss on all who see it. I shall overcome the formidable darkness of ignorance by lovingly embracing and talking with thee as an infant. The Lord said, O Mother, let everything take place as you wish. It will never be otherwise. I have been entreated in the past by Brahma to relieve the earth of its burdens by destroying Ravana. For this purpose, I have now assumed a human form. Besides, O virtuous lady, you and Dasharatha had in days of old performed austerities, praying that you should get me as your son. This form of mine which you have seen is a vision vouchsafed to you as the fruit of the austerities you have performed before. It is impossible for anyone to experience this form otherwise, for my vision bestows liberation on those who get it. Those who study this dialogue between us or even hear it read will have remembrance of me at the time of death and attain sarupya, liberation consisting in the attainment of my form. Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishnar Panamastu.